Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. And today I got a chance to work inside the workshop doing a little bit of soldering. And what I did today was to work on an Asus laptop that came in where it had some issue with the power. The customer complained that the power kept going on and off, so it seems more of an electrical fault. And so what I had to do was to basically adapt a power adoption, something. This is the part I took off. I'll zoom in on that later on, right? But took this off the motherboard from the Asus laptop and adapted a power from a Toshiba laptop that had some wires attached to it. And so you guys get a chance to see how I made that adoption and got the Asus laptop back up and running. Catch 'em all. Alright, so I don't know if you can see that, but right there it's cracked. So there's a split between what goes here for the positive and that lead goes in here, and that is what is cracked. So it just needs a little bit of soldering right here to fix that problem. And it's just because they're probably yanking on the entire area here itself. So see if we get that soldered in and tested. You can also use the continuity tester just to check to make sure which was what I did before I actually noticed the crack. Placed it here, and I can't hold it again, it's one hand, right? And then place the other lead behind to determine whether it was going through. So I'm gonna throw some solder on that and hope it fixes that situation. Well, I know it will fix the situation, so. That should do it. So even after I've placed in the soldering to try to connect that positive lead, I noticed that it kept grounding out still. So I think because of the type of wire I found in there, I think it's a brass wire going through the power. It means that my only choice was to either solder this off the board and replace it, or see if I could do an adaptation, which I opted to do an adaptation of some other old laptop. Alright, so at this point I'm just using a small vacuum to pull off the solder as I heat it up. So I'm doing it for each lead, just heating up and removing the solder from it so I can get this out. Alright, so I ended up have to solder out the part and see if I could get a replacement to place in it. I can add some sort of core off, and I believe I have to take out this core also. But I should do that anyway. I do have these old Toshiba laptop, and of course the one I'm fixing is an Acer. But I thought that I could probably, because this one isn't working, the motherboard is gone, I could probably use this power adapter, which is a little bit different from the one that is in there. But the difference here is that this is not built onto the board, but instead I could probably solder these wires to the board and still get some sort of connection in to get power to the last board. So I'm going to see if I could use this on the Acer motherboard and see how I can fit it into this piece. Of course, again, it won't be soldered on the board itself, but instead having wires running to the board and then to the power supply, if I can find a power supply that matches this also. So it's a lot of if it works. Let's hope it does. Alright, so don't need the entire wire. Get rid of that. We don't even need two wires, right? But just to simplify things, I'll solder them on together and put the grounds separate on the board. So that's my 3 connections. Get the soldering iron heated up. Don't really have much space here, and forgive my weird looking outlet, don't try that at home. And tester to test after I've finished. So alright, so I am by no means a soldering expert, but put some soldering paste on it and see if we can get that wire melted over. Onto these different leads. And of course, for the people who are soldering experts out there, you can give me some tips, because I'm kind of learning this soldering thing. I've been doing it for quite a bit and I don't do it too often, so I don't know how much of an improvement I have made, right? I'm also going to establish a little bit of the paste. I know the paste does help in getting the solder melted. So I'm going to solder on the positive first and then move to the negative, or actually I should do the negatives first. And these actually I believe will set directly into the holes that I took them out from, which should be a good thing. Yeah, so I could do that and then do the positive if I don't burn myself up. So soldering iron is almost hot. Now I'm gonna give it a little clean on the tip. Yeah. Come on. Beninging. I can tell you this, soldering does take practice, so yeah, should do it. And make sure that you're not inhaling all that smoke. Alright, so I'm actually going to melt the solder here first and then come back and stick the wire afterwards. That's a lot of metal. Let's take out. I think I'm going to put a nasty solder on this. Pretty much it. I have a feeling, let me see if I can twist this up. Is it breaking? Yeah, that's good. Alright, so those are nice and snug. So those actually should work for what I want. And I hope I caught that in screen, right? And the idea is that when I push this here, I should get some light on. So let me, first of all, get rid of the soldering iron, which should now do the trick. So remember, the board was not coming on. So now when let me make sure I'm not grounding anything out. Connect this here. You should get these green lights on. I don't know if you can see those, but with the reflection on my hands you probably can. So there, we have power now. The problem is, how am I going to set this in the case? And I gotta figure that out. But I'll see if I could put this back in the case and see how I can best fit that in or snug it in, and maybe add some glue around it to work. So that's the soldering adaptation from a Toshiba to an Acer Power. Alright, so here we go with this nasty soldering wire. Let's see if we can get that fitted in. If I have to cut the case, I will, but I don't want to. I'm hoping it can just fit in and still allow for the power plug-in. We'll see. So I need to come with this part in first. So I can get this part. Slide in and stay in. Again, if there's a need to cut, I will. But I think it does stay in. Yeah, that's about it. So that can allow for me to plug in and plug out the power. And we should be fine. Yep, perfect. So that gives me the power that I want. And feels durable enough once I put down the motherboard itself. So that should do it. I'm going to close this up, put back everything together, and make sure that it comes on. I'm not showing the disassembling and assembling of the laptop because I have those in one of my previous videos, and so it's just to show the fixing or the changing of this particular port, taking it off the board and adding on a Toshiba adapted one to this Acer. Alright, so moment of truth. Yep. Power. Acer is back on just like that. That's it. Alright, so I hope that you enjoyed that video and you'll find this useful, and know that there's always an alternative or a different way to solve different things. So we don't have the luxury of being able to buy parts, right? And of course my soldering skills hopefully will keep getting better, right? If you have any tips for me in terms of soldering and repairs, or you have done something like this, leave it in the comment below, right? So we can share Also, like always, be safe, guys, and go geek yourself.